So in this video, we're going to go over how to make assignments and then also just kind of how to organize the classwork part of Google Classroom. So from the stream, you go to classwork, and you can see mine is very filled out because this is after a whole year of teaching. If I were to go back to the one that we created, I think that was this, that classwork page is just going to be empty. And so I kind of want to walk you through the one that I made because it had some features that I think are helpful in my experience with it, and kind of explain how to do that. So one of the things, and this is something I actually read about from somebody, is they suggested I should kind of go over the create. Let's go over the create button first. So in the create button, you have different things that you can create. You can do an assignment. You can do a quiz assignment, which basically makes it'd be like a Google form quiz as their assignment, and I'll kind of go through that a little bit later. You can post a question. I'm going to post some material. You can reuse a post. So if I were to make a post or an assignment, let's say from last year that I want to reuse this year, I can do that. I'll show you how to do that here in a second. And then you also make topics, which are actually new as of last year, and they're wonderful. And so topics, in my mind, are a way just to organize your posts. So I have them mainly organized by unit, and then I can put all their assignments by that unit. Something I found that really helped, this is from my second year of teaching, is creating a this week topic and then making sure that's at the top. You can move these around, by the way. And I usually put their assignments from that week under here, and that usually helps a ton in kids trying to find it. Because in the stream, if I post, for example, let's go down to like regular class, right? So basically it'd be like bell work, assignment, bell work, an assignment somewhere. And so rather than, let's say that we're having a work day on Friday and they're trying to figure out, what was the assignment on Monday, they can just go to classwork and they see all the work that was due for them here for that week. And then usually once the week is over, then I would move it. You can drag and drop these two. I would just move it to the unit that it corresponds to. Oop, I don't know what I clicked on. So that's topics. I usually did one for this week. I also did one for like important links too. Of things. So like I had like a website that kids could use. I had different games that they could play. I had that actually down there, I think. And they found that useful. There's also the Google Meet link up here that, again, I never use, so I don't know why it's there. You also, when you create a Google Classroom, it makes a Google Calendar, and then it will actually post on that calendar their assignment dates, which kids can look at as well. I usually don't look at it much, but some kids find it helpful. I kind of see it as a calendar rather than what it is on here. And then the class drive folder, I think I talked about this earlier. I don't remember anymore. Just don't delete it. Okay, so let's pretend or kind of go through what these different things are. So when I make an assignment, you have your title and then your directions. So I don't know what I would do. How to, and I can put, how to do it. Go to A, then B, etc. You kind of explain it in that thing, and that's the title of your assignment. And then this is where you would add documents or create them from here. So if I had made an assignment, I would usually hit add, and I would find it in my Google Drive. So let's say I want them to, I don't know, I've been working on my music and tech class, so maybe they were going to do their podcast ending. I would select basically all the documents I want to be on that assignment, whether they're viewing them or editing them. But I'm just going to do this one for now. Actually, let's do two because I can show that. So it's going to link them, and the default is that students can only view that file. Well, if I have an assignment, I would prefer that all the kids get a copy. And so you hit this drop down, and you can say that it makes a copy for them. I don't think I've ever given kids editing rights to a document of mine, because then they can all edit the same doc, and that becomes chaotic. So making a copy for each student, that's how they can work on their own assignment, and then you can grade it. And then this one is something that they could view only. So if I were giving them like a text to read and then an assignment to edit, I would kind of set it up this way where they can edit. I shouldn't say edit. It'll make a copy where they can edit that one. That would be their assignment, and this might be the resource that they're reading. You can also add links and different files, if you have like a PDF that you want to do, and then YouTube videos as well. But anything else can be links, such as websites, stuff like that. Now on the right, you can also now do some other things. So for example, I can select which class or classes I want this assignment to be assigned to. So like when I had multiple 8th grade classes, I would select multiple and it would do that all for me and make that for, all 100 some kids that I have. That would be really nice. If I were in one class, let's say I'm making an extra credit option, rather than assign it to all students, maybe it's just the one that asking me, just like with posts, I can select which kids can view that. Let's go back to all kids. This would be when I'm grading it, how many points it's worth. And then this is why we made those grading categories. I can say whether it's practice or performance from that. And then kids can view that whether it's practice or performance. You can assign a due date. And they have this nice little calendar here. You can even, I think, if you do it, you can also do time if you'd like. And then this is the topic. So whenever, like I said, I was creating assignments, I always put it under this week first, and then I'd move it later. Otherwise, do it by your units or whatever. Oh, and then this is so fun. You can create rubrics. So let's show you how to do that. So the rubrics, and I'll show this how to use it later when you're grading. But when you create a rubric, you basically have different criterion. I don't know what to put. Oh, you can do a description. I think that's new. But you can add basically, like if I have a 4-point rubric, I can add the points that I want it to be. You can change whether it's ascending or descending. I usually like ascending. That's just a personal preference. I can give it a title. So like below basic, move my way up, so to speak. And then you can put in like what they actually need to do. So maybe they had to had, certain things met. That's kind of where I put that. And then when you're grading, I'll show you what that looks like, but it's really easy to then grade once you have a rubric made. And if you want multiple ideas or multiple things, you just hit add criterion and you can redo it. You can also delete, you can copy, you can move it up too. So like if I basically want this format, but I'm just going to change the description, I just would duplicate it and go on and go forth. Okay. It's really cool. The other thing too that they have, I forgot to say too, if you already have a rubric, like maybe from last year from another teacher and you're in their classroom, you can reuse theirs and you can then select the class. Like if I wanted to select one from last year, let's say, and then it will show me all the rubrics I've created. I got really into it, so I have like a ton. And then it will fill that out. So if you want to look at like a filled out one, that's not a very good one, is it? But you can do that. Yeah, I don't need it. And then the other cool thing too, if you're doing like especially a writing assignment, you can have it check for plagiarism. And basically just compares it to a general web search, and it will tell you how much is plagiarized or not. I'll probably show more what that looks like in the grading video. I think you can only do this so many times, so use it sparingly. But it's kind of a cool feature. And then when you're done, you can hit assign, and that will post it right then and there. Otherwise, you can also save it as a draft for later, or schedule it to be assigned to them at a certain time. So like if I would have kids that would want to, I'd usually post these, at the end of the school day for tomorrow, and I'd have kids that try and work on them in the afternoon. Then they would come to school, have nothing to do because they did it last night. Then I would schedule it to post like when I came to school or when their class started a little bit before, and then that would all be done. The other thing I wanted to show, actually, I'm going to show this in the grading. So that's how do you create an assignment. This is a really long video, sorry. The quiz assignment, generally if you're going to assign like a quiz in Google Classroom using like a Google form, I usually make the quiz beforehand. But if you were to start out this way, it gives you a blank Google form that then you can edit. And it basically puts it in the Google Forms like quiz mode where it locks down their Chromes and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't do that. You turn that on, but it can do stuff like that. And then whatever their score is, it'll put in automatically in Google Classroom. So kind of cool. The other couple, so a question is actually really fun. I probably will be doing this for, like I used to have kids watch a video and then we might write a question on like a note card. I'm probably going to just be doing this from now on. So it makes like an assignment post, but it's just a question. You write that in there with maybe some directions. You can have different types in terms of short answer, multiple choice. And again, you can do the same thing you did with an assignment in terms of which students and what classes, what the category, the points, if you're going to grade it or not, the due date, stuff like that. You can have students reply to each other or not. So if you're trying to have a conversation, that might be helpful. You can have them edit their answer. So if they were to put it in and then maybe they want to go back and edit it, you could turn that on. And you can also add different materials as well. If you're trying to especially create like a discussion around something, that would be helpful. The last one here is a material. So materials are basically view-only things that you share with kids. So if I wanted them, well, for example, I did it with these science games. How could I not view that? But basically, I shared a link, and so this link is something that is view only for them. They're not. It's not an assignment. It's not going to be in my grade book or show them as a grade something they have to do. It's just like a view only thing that they have access to as a material. And so it's kind of handy at times for things that I want to remain there forever, and I don't want kids to ever edit, but it's not part of an assignment. So like I did, this is like my checklist for work they have turned in. This was like a way for them to get help, and then I had some games and stuff. Otherwise, I didn't really use it too much because generally I'm going to put if it's part of an assignment, I'm going to put it with the assignment post. I think that's just about everything for how to create assignments. In the next video, we're going to go over like the grading view and kind of what that looks like.